guys, welcome back to the Combined Corner. I'm your host, Camille. I'm here with my co-host, Elisa.
Hey guys.
And today we have a very special guest, one of our closest friends, Justine. And to give some context about her, she's a really close family friend who a few years ago moved to California. And now she's going to be here to tell us about her experiences growing up in Michigan versus California and what the differences are and the good, the bad, and, just everything. So.
I say hi.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Justine. I've been a longtime friend of Elisa and Camille ever since we were babies. Who knows? Basically, I moved to California 3 years ago because my parents both wanted to get away from winter, and then my uncle was like, oh, just take a vacation in Irvine, blah, 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 I trust me, you guys are gonna love it. And then long story short, 2 weeks later, they were already looking at housing listings. And then and then me and my brother are 4 years apart, so they waited for Ian to finish 8th grade, and then I graduated high school, and then we both just moved over to California, and then that's where I started college. So I'm a 4th year at Cal State Long Beach in chemical engineering, and I'm part of the Filipino org there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so I guess we'll just start about, what your experience was growing up in Michigan, because you lived in Novi, right?
Yeah, I lived in Novi, which itself is, pretty diverse community, but because I lived on the border of Wixom and South Lyon, how the school districting worked, I ended up in South Lyon schools, which is majority white population. So that's where I ended up going to school.
Right. Yeah, because Elisa and I were talking about in our growing up episode how Elisa had a more white.
Yeah, especially because I went to public school too. The schooling was very different. So yeah, all my friends were preppy white girls. So that definitely influenced me growing up.
Yeah, so you want to talk about growing up, going to school in South Lyon, how that was?
Well, it was mostly just I feel I was very whitewashed at the time, just because all of the people that I was surrounded with were, white people. And yeah, I don't know, I never really felt I fit in, just because none of these people could relate to the experiences that I had at home and how my family grows up and the customs that we had. No one else had that, so I always felt kind of out of place. And then I had a feeling in my heart, whatever, but that when I graduated, I probably wouldn't keep any long-term connections from high school, just because none of these people I connected with, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. So was there any experiences specifically that you can remember that in high school that you were oh I really these are different? Because we talked about how for us we would bring certain foods and people would be kind of weirded out, or
we had to be two-faced.
Oh, yeah,
Asian side and our white side.
Yeah, do you experience any of that? Or
oh my god, wait, actually, because my friends would always be obsessed with boys, and because they're they would have crushes on the guys in our class, and for me, I'm just oh yeah, I find him hot. No, I don't. No, I don't. It's not my type whatsoever. Blonde hair, blue eyes, no. But yeah, that one stood out to me because that went on for years of them talking about these types of people that they like, and for me, I was
could not be
me. Not. Could not.
You're
be.
I'm not attracted to that. Not my type.
There was another time where my AP physics class, because we had an Indian professor and it was her first time teaching, and I know that people made fun of her accent a lot because she had a really thick accent. It was her first time teaching, and they would always come at her while she's teaching, and I felt really bad for her because knowing that my parents are also insecure about the way that they speak English sometimes, how hard it must have been for her, but none of them would have realized that because they've never had to face that type of problem. So it's more I sympathize with my teacher, but I couldn't show that because I was a student. with like all of the other students who were white.
Right, and you had to like at the time it's like you gotta fit in kind of like it can't be too different. Did you like ever like tell your friends like or at least your closer friends I guess like your interests like outside of like whatever they were into like K-pop, anime, stuff like that? Because like I was pretty open with my group of friends.
I definitely was
So
not.
Lisa was not. So
I hid everything.
I
yeah,
had like multiple friend groups in high school. There was one like main one, but like they knew that I watched K-pop, watched anime, and they would always like tease me about it, but never too seriously because like they never watched it or like they just like accepted it. But we never, when we would hang out, that's never like the topic of like what we would talk about. So it's just something that I had to myself and then never like interacted with them. So thankfully, like I didn't have to hide it from them, but I could never like share my interests with them.
okay, so like they knew about it, but it was just like, oh, but I can't talk about it with them.
Yeah, like if like a new episode came out, like couldn't be like, oh my god, did you see this? Like, yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay,
I
like
feel,
that's
yeah.
good. At least you didn't have to hide it, but it still kind of
Mhm.
sucks that you didn't have like someone at school at least to talk about it with.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else? Is there any other high school experiences that put on? I feel like that's like most of the things.
Those are the
So
ones
I
that stood out
guess
to me.
wait, what'd you say?
Those are the ones that like stood out to me because high school was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, no, it's like also so long ago, so it's like yikes.
Oh
But
yeah.
plus you're like you surround yourself with a better group. I guess we could talk about your group of people that you surround yourself with now.
Well,
So
now, oh yeah, huh? Well, cause now, ever since I moved to California, like I want to say that 90% of the friends I've made are Filipino.
Hey,
I
okay.
mean,
All of my
I'm
friends
the
are
same.
Filipino. Yeah. So a lot of our interests, a lot of our experiences are all going to be the same. Like if something happens, like they also probably would know about it just because like we all be living the same lives. Yeah, and then so all of our interests also overline. So that's why I've made a lot of the friends that I have, just because like I can talk about anime or like I can talk about K-pop with them because they'll also be into it.
That's so cool. Oh,
No, honestly, same. As soon as college started,
oh yeah, college definitely.
as soon as like I 90% of my friends are Filipino or
Mhm.
like Asian.
Even without trying, because like when I moved into the dorm, like it was like mixed. Yeah, like there was all like ethnicities, nationalities. But just somehow like you just migrate towards your own people. So
No,
like
for real.
yeah, so like my roommates, three of us were Filipino, um, and then one Vietnamese, one Chinese, one Japanese. So yeah.
Wait, like this was your roommates your freshman year or
Well, since freshman year up till last semester.
okay, so you like got paired with like these people specifically or did you like
No, so
already
I chose my roommate, but it just worked out that like all the people in our suite and on our floor were like cool. So I literally have stayed with those people since.
Oh, okay. So you like chose your roommate specifically, but then it just happened. You met these
Mhm.
people, and okay, that's cool. That's cool. So would you say it was like, because I remember growing up for me, I would try to like if I saw an East Asian or like anyone remotely Asian, I would try to be their friend because there's like none. So like
Mhm.
for you, I'm assuming there's like way more Asians out there. So was it like easier just to find more friends that could relate or?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it was also just like freshman year at the time. So I was just trying to put on this social front that like, hey, I'm friendly, be my friend, please. I also moved across the country and I don't have any friends, so please be my friend. And so it was basically like me just trying like hard to find like my sense of community. And then yeah.
And then you just got really lucky with
With like yeah, I got lucky with who I roomed with. And then I also got lucky with because I joined my Filipino org like right away, and like from then like my circle of friends just like grew, and that's
Yes,
where
same here.
everyone
yes.
everyone that I talk to now is literally from PAC. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you first moved because you bought tickets to go to KCON and then you said your roommate was also going to KCON. If I don't know
So
if
yeah, I literally met my roommate on the Facebook group for like freshmen that were looking for like a roommate. And so we commented on each other's like posts, and then I asked to be her roommate, and then she approved, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm actually thinking about going to KCON. Like, did you want to come with me?" And she was like, "Oh my god, like I wanted to go see Got7." And I was like, "Oh my god, I want to see 17." And then she was like, so then we went to KCON together, literally like a week. No, not even a week. It was move-in day.
yeah, it was moving week. I remember you like
move-in day, and we just met, and we went to day 1 and day 2 of KCON together.
What an
Which
experience
was
together.
what a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
I know.
Honestly.
So at that point, I was like, I don't need to
convention
hide
with
it.
me and like just watch our favorite idols together. Cool,
Yeah,
great.
because it's like you can't do that back home. Like no one comes to Michigan. But like the moment I learned 17 was going to KCON in LA, I was like, bitch, I'm going. I'll be there.
The timing was like perfect because we were gonna be there, and so it worked out. No, yeah, but yeah, no one goes to Michigan. Oh, well, recently people have been coming to Michigan, but not really.
Mostly Chicago.
Chicago's like your best bet.
Yeah.
I know someone who skipped school to go to a 17 concert.
Could be me. Could be me.
I almost did that for a concert, but did not. But yeah, and then let's see. So I guess like if you want to talk more about like your like Filipino org, since you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because I know it's completely different from
yeah,
ours. So a lot of our fan base is gonna be from the Midwest. So, and talking to you outside of like this, we know that the way your orgs run is a lot different.
Yeah. Well, okay, wait, what does SAFA stand for?
Student Association for Filipino Americans.
Well, what Margaret?
And then Elisa's in Capamelia. It's just Capamelia.
So
Yeah.
ours is just called PAC, so that's just Filipino American Coalition.
Yeah, you got it.
You got
Oh,
it.
I'm so embarrassed.
Our like umbrella term
No,
was
yeah,
the first.
my kuya got mad at me because we forgot what MAFA stood for, and he yelled at me because he was on MAFA board.
I know it was a weird one because ours is like it ends with a C. Like it's not club, it's coalition, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
So ours is basically like we have a PAC cabinet, and then there's like 12 people that run the Filipino organization, and then that's like the umbrella organization to PCN, which is, I know back home PCN's just like one dinner banquet that you guys host, and then like you perform stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
we have like cultural performances and stuff like that, and then like a speaker that will talk about whatever the theme is, and like we raise money for a charity to donate to the Philippines.
Yeah, so ours is like an entire production, so it's a 3 to 4 hour production, that like a performance that we put on. So under PCN under PCN cabinet there's 2 PCN coordinators who is in charge of the entire production, and then under those 2 there's 40 board members, and so each board member has like a different responsibilities. So we have fundraising, marketing, like there's the secretary, there's people that do like the webmaster, and then you have like 12 people, like including me, who do like the suites. So the suites are like the types of dances, like the types of Filipino dances. So there's like, I know the most popular one is like tinikling, but there's also like rural, Maria Clara,
You did Spanish,
regional. Right? Yeah, I was in charge of Spanish and Maria Clara. They're the same thing. So there's like 7 of those dance suites, and then we have 3 skit writers who write like a 2-hour like play, and then so that's like the main production of it is the skit, and then we integrate the dances into the skit, so it'll go on to like a couple scenes and then performance, and then a couple scenes and then a performance, and then a couple scenes intermission.
Yeah, Oakland. Yeah, one of our I know recently some of like the Michigan PSAs have been trying to kind of like convert to that, but not really. Like
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Like I know Oakland University did something similar, but like on a smaller scale. And then I know some outside of Michigan at least, because I remember shoot, I'm gonna what school did Adrian Cruz went to? One school like Illinois did something similar to what you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's really cool. I like it.
no, yeah, I remember when you sent us the videos of like when you first like performed. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did it my sophomore year. I was a dancer. I just danced in 2 different suites, which was Spanish suites. So now I'm the Spanish coordinator. So basically my job is to choreograph 3 different dances, or like 3 to 4 minutes long each. And then I teach it to my dancers. So I had like 50 dancers that I had to teach choreography to. And then I had to choose like the costumes, choose their partners, blah, 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 keep track of everybody. Yeah, it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it took up a lot of my time.
That's so cool. Now
honestly,
like we're struggling to get people on board. Like
oh yeah,
like we were forced to be on board.
Because I got really lucky my year of board, because luckily everyone that was on, I just didn't know. There was only one person I didn't know. Obviously, I met them like right away, and then so everyone that was on board at the time was like my friends.
oh, that's nice. Yeah, like I know my first year on board. Yeah, I mean it's a small org, so you know everyone. But
Yeah.
I remember like for me, because Safa's a lot smaller than yours org. So we only had like 2 people in charge of PCN, and then it was like volunteers on if anyone else wanted to help out. So like obviously it was like a lot of work, a lot of late nights.
I know your guys's was like whatever money you raised went towards like a charity.
Yeah, do you guys do anything like that, or just the production?
Because so we have 200 people that build up the entire show, and then say like times 4 family members per se, so there could be up to like 1,000 people in the audience.
Right.
And we're the only club that uses, because we have like a theater. My school has a really nice theater, and we're the only organization on campus that actually uses the theater, because most of the time it's like concert venues or like talk shows or something. But because we're so big, and because we actually bring in the money to like host the show, like the money that we earn just it rolls over to the next year's performance.
Oh, so you just like keep going, because like for us, at least like my org, our school gives us money. So
yeah, our school gives us a grant to rent the theater, and then we raise that money, and then we just recycle it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because like for us, our school gives us money, and then we try to raise extra money on top of that to help with the production, and then we personally don't charge, but other schools will charge for their PCNs, and then all the money that they raise, because obviously a lot of people are going, because you got like all the members, like each family member of the members, so that what we raise for charity. But I mean, still, it's like amazing that you have such a big production.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like I would love everyone to have like that type of experience, which is why like it's always been my goal to inspire someone on PCN to like have the same first experience that I had, just because I had so much fun with it. It like built a passion in me, and I wanted to share that with at least like one other person. But fortunately I wasn't able to do that this year just because of the whole situation. So I'm hoping that at least someone was inspired by what I was able to get done, because we did have like a smaller performance in December, which was supposed to be like our little Christmas performance.
Okay.
So hopefully, yeah. So
I'm just this practice, so I'm sure people have fun working towards it, because I know like for us, we like started like ours PCM was in February, and we had a performance in early January for like a church, so we had to start practices a lot earlier than usual, so we were just like practicing, and that was a lot of fun, especially because our studio was closed, so we had to practice in the basketball.
Yeah, it's really interesting when people like ask us to perform for gigs and stuff, because I had a gig over the summer and they were like, oh, we want to see like Spanish, blah blah blah, and I was like, that's crazy, like y'all know us.
No, yeah, like yeah, I remember I have a Lola who does things, and she's like, oh, can you get your student org to like perform for like the church? Like we really want more kids involved, and like I was like,
Mhm.
I guess sure if they want if we're free.
Mhm.
It's really cool. So going on to PCN, we said how like we didn't really like know our culture until college. Is this like the same for you?
Yeah, because I know here, like PCN is also a thing during high school. And
Really?
so
Oh,
the people in high school can perform in PCNs, and like they build like blah, blah, blah. They do the same thing where they have a bunch of people, they teach the choreography, and then they perform it, and then they perform it at their high school. So I was thinking like if I had that sort of thing in high school, like my high school experience would have been so different. Like I would have had more of a community, but there was probably like 3 Filipinos in my school. Like
same.
I was the only girl.
Wait, so is your brother like into that stuff? Like in high school?
No, Ian's school doesn't. I know Irvine isn't have a lot of Filipinos. It's mostly like Vietnamese, Korean students. But like in Long Beach, especially like Cerritos, Artesia area, like there's so many Filipinos there, and I know that they all do PCNs because all of my friends were already experienced in PCN by the time that they came into college.
Wow, so
Wow.
cultured.
Wow.
I know.
No,
Imagine
but
knowing
like
your culture early on.
I know.
I feel like at least here in Michigan, like things have changed since you've left. We now have a Lola who is dedicated to teaching the youth about culture, and I think it's like I wish we had that when we were growing up, but
Yeah, I do too.
it is what it is. I mean, at least we had this. We were fortunate enough to go to universities that have a
A
Filipino
program.
a community and stuff. But
Mhm.
that's still crazy that as early as high school they're already like doing that.
Yeah.
Because like at least in Michigan you can never.
Yeah. Like I would have never pictured my college life like this if I was still back home.
Well, I mean, there's still some universities because it wasn't like your initial plan was like MSU or U of M initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to tell past Justine like go to U of M. Go to U of M. I think I was like dead set on state, but it's fine.
Nah, I remember when we were all like that. But so I guess like to go on, I know something that you wanted to bring up was like the differences in food.
Yes, I was like waiting for that to happen. I was like, let's talk about food because I love food.
Because you know, when we were like little, you can't really go anywhere without like a car and like your parents to drive you to go somewhere,
Yes.
right?
Especially
So
because we all live super far from each other.
yeah,
So
we all live really far from each other. It was at least like a 30-minute drive just to get to one of your houses. And then I know that I live the farthest away from everyone. So
yeah.
just like planning to see each other was already an event in itself. You can't just like, oh, you want to go get like
Yeah.
boba right now? Like you couldn't do that before. And then
We also couldn't do that because there was no places to get.
yeah, so there's no places to get boba. And then now I'm sitting at home and like my brother's high school experience is like completely different from mine because he goes out every day. He has like an hour lunch break and they're allowed to leave school. And then
Wait, what?
there's so many places they can go eat. Like within like my house alone, within like a 1 mile radius, there's probably like 5 boba places you could go to.
No, I remember when I came to visit you, we like literally just like walked from your house to like a froyo place. And I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, could never.
Yeah, because Ian rides his bike with his friends. So like he doesn't even need a car to get to where he's going. He can ride his bike, he can walk. And his friends are just like one text away. Like I could have never done that, especially going to my friend's house who lived in my neighborhood was already like tough to do. Strict parents be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just like even the type of food, like just going to get like pho or sushi was like farther away versus here it's like across the street.
No, yeah, I remember when when my family moved closer to Ann Arbor, we I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a pho place like a mile down from our house." That like cuz before where I used to live, it'd be like another city. But now it's like
Yeah,
closer. So I was excited about that, but like for you it's just like it's right there.
just another day. just another day. And it's like it's not only that we have it, it's that there's options. There's different places to go. So I can choose. And it's like Especially when I love when people like have fights about what type of boba is better. It's just because we have all those different branches and like all those different corporations, and that's why we can argue because there's so many choices to pick from.
No, yeah, it's because like here, literally after almost every recording, we're like, oh, let's go to Ding, because like that's the closest one. That's
Yeah,
like,
because me and my best friend Lex, she's like team Ding tea and I'm like team share tea. So that's why I'm like when Emma was like, "Oh my God, we're getting a share tea in Ann Arbor," I was like,
yes.
that
No,
was
yeah,
my
there's like so many
favorite
places, or at least in Michigan recently, there's like so many bubble tea places opening up. Because I believe in
We're getting
Canton,
another one.
there's yeah, Kung Fu's opening up, a Ding Tea, Bamboo.
thing.
So
But
that's like 3 already, and Arbor has like a good amount. So
yeah, because I lived in Novi, and that's where Kung Fu is, and that's where we went every single time when I visited you guys, because that was the only place. But like, yeah, Kung Fu's not even that popular here. Like,
no, I bet it wouldn't.
yeah, I haven't even seen one.
Like Kung Fu, don't know her.
Yeah, I don't really see them around here.
I remember when you took me to that one bubble tea place where it's like a, I don't even know, a really huge cup. I don't even know how many ounces.
Oh, it's we have self-serve boba, so you pay for the cup, and then you like fill your own toppings and choose.
And it
your
was
drink.
like, it was a lot.
Yeah, it's like $5, but you pay for like a giant cup.
I think it was like at least 20 ounces, and then it was like self-serve, and you pick all the toppings and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck?
I always
I take people there because I'm like, this is innovative. This is
Yeah, no, it really is innovative.
This is something new.
No, I remember one of my coworkers was like, oh, I'm going to Irvine. I was like, oh, you should go to this place. It's like after you showed me, I was like, oh, you should go here. Like, this is pretty cool.
I always see like TikToks and like that one boba or like cafe you went to with the Animal Crossing like thing. I was literally gonna send it to you, and like the next day you literally went. I was like,
no, because there was a lot of people that sent that to me because it's Irvine, California, and that's where I live. And I was like, oh, it's probably by the university, blah blah blah. It was literally on my way to work. Like it was
You're
a
just
mile.
like, oh, there it is.
Why is that?
Yeah, and so when I
For you
put in the
page?
directions, I was like, this is literally like right next to my workplace.
What the heck? Why was that on my For You page though? Like
they wanted you to say hi to me. They wanted to give you a reason to be like, hey, Justine.
Hey, Justine, I know that like you're in Irvine, and I saw this thing, and I think you really will like it.
so
I've been there. Plus, just
like
went.
I gone. But
they only included the Animal Crossing characters on like if you ordered like a cheese foam on top of your drinks. So like my mom, she got like a matcha latte with cheese foam, and then I got like a little Isabel design on her.
aww. But no, I remember this one. I was with you. You were saying like how when you like go shopping like for groceries with your roommates, you would like do a Costco stop and then you go to H Mart.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish.
We do 2 different hauls. We literally have to dedicate like a day for grocery shopping because we'd go to Costco, get all of our stuff there, and then we have to go to H Mart as well because all of our food is so diverse that everything is at H Mart.
Right, I can never, because I think I've been to H Mart maybe like 3 times, and just going to H Mart like because
it's a drive.
like yeah, especially like I know for you it'd be further, but for me I was like a little closer because I was like in Dearborn for school, and I remember like those days we just like we would like I would have to plan it out with like a few friends, and we just happened to be in the area and we're like, oh, let's go to H Mart. Like it's never.
Yeah, Michelle told me that H Mart was like 30-minute drive from her. I'm like, H Mart is 3 miles from me. It's crazy because I have an H Mart, which is the Korean market. I have a Seafood City, which has Jollibee in it. So we have a Filipino market, and then we have a Mitsuwa marketplace, which is the Japanese market, and then there's like a 99 Ranch, which is just like our Chinese Vietnamese market. So it's like I have all of those within like a 3-mile radius of my house. So whatever I'm feeling, I just like.
That's crazy. That's like.
I just like to flex my Jollibee sometimes because I just know that you guys can't.
I just
No,
know.
literally, my brother's going to Jollibee like this weekend.
Oh,
Like,
you
and he's
really?
like spending like having a hotel there and like
Wow.
it's all
Yeah,
like a
no,
very
I get jealous of my friends who live, because like my best friend lives on the other side of Michigan. So she's like maybe an hour
Closer
drive
to
from
Chicago.
Chicago.
Mhm.
So she could easily, well, she's not Filipino, so, but she could easily go to Jollibee
A
if she wanted
privilege.
to. I mean, she's been to Jollibee. I took her, so she likes it. But if she really wanted to, she could just go to Jollibee. I'm like jealous of like the like Andrew University kids because they all just take a day trip to Chicago for Jollibee, which is like slight. I mean, like it'd be better if it's like closer, but
I told my friends about that. I was like, yeah, we would literally have to plan a day trip to get Jollibee.
yeah, and it'd be like every so often months. Like now, at least here in like Michigan, it's like because we have all these events like with MAFA, you stop at Jollibee like when you go to these events. Like when we go to the FAC conference, because it's Jollibee's on the way, you stop at Jollibee there and back. And like any other events, whenever you're like heading towards Chicago, you just like stop there.
It's not even in every city. Like there's not a Jollibee in every city. It just happens to be that because I lived in Irvine and I lived in Long Beach that there was a Jollibee near me. So I
Yeah,
just
no,
got
yeah,
lucky
for sure.
that there was happened to be two next to me. So no matter where I was, there was always one near me.
But but I'm sure even if you didn't live in those areas, there's like a
Yeah.
Jollibee closer than trying to drive like 4 to 6 hours to another
Yeah.
state.
It also made it a lot easier for like food expenses when I lived in like because I lived in an apartment for the past 2 years, and so basically like getting food and everything was all on my own, and it just made it easier when I could just pull up to Seafood City and like they have like those like you pick out like a small bowl of just like ulam and then you pick it out and then so I would take like 3 at a time and then I would have food for like the week. And I wouldn't have to cook. I would just buy it $10 maybe and then just go home and then just meal prep it out.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I used to do when I went to H Mart. Buy those like pre like packaged or like just like you just fry it real quick kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of instant packs in H Mart. I literally made like a recommendation list for everybody.
Oh my gosh. Am I surprised though? No, not really.
Nah.
Let me see what else. What else is there that you want to people use? Okay, so I guess another topic that we wanted to bring up is like the different views of like people versus like Michigan and then like California.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I've already stated it before, but like I went to school with like majority of white people, and so they're very open about like their political views, but they mostly Republican skewed. Yeah, is that the word? Biased. They were biased towards the Republican Party, and like, cause it's like even my closest friends who would be supporting Trump, that kind of stuff. Like I can't really like open my mouth and say anything just because I know that at the time I was ignorant about all these political ideas. So I didn't want to say anything that was incorrect, but I also like wasn't super comfortable with the fact that all of these people in the school share like a similar mindset. And then just like having those type of views just made me feel even more like there was like no sense of community for me to fit in back home versus like share like other people that have the same experience. So all of our political views to be in line with another because we've all been through the same thing. So their beliefs are gonna align with mine.
Okay, yeah.
yeah. I feel like people are more like understanding and open-minded there too. Like we're
Very open-minded. Cause like yeah, like the whole, especially like tattoos and piercings, like scene, that's so common here. And I feel like even though your parents say like, oh, it's gonna be hard to find a job, like if you have tattoos or piercings, and I'm sitting here like people who are interviewing me are gonna have tattoos and piercings, blah blah blah.
Right.
and like the dress, how people dress are
Oh yeah,
completely
no, like the
different.
styles like completely
Like
different.
I want to dress a certain way, but in the stinking Midwest, I can't dress
Yeah.
that way.
Or especially
like,
like
it's
the
weird.
season, it's like also like depending on what month it is, it's like, oh, I really can't dress that way because there's like multiple factors holding you back.
Yeah, especially when I go to LA, I always feel super underdressed just because of like the sense of style that goes on there is a lot more diverse when you just versus when you go to school and it's just like tube top and jeans, t-shirt and shorts. Like
Right. But yeah, I remember like even like, cause I remember when I was visiting too, my cousin, he like goes to raves and stuff, and like that's
Mhm.
the style too. Was like I've never really like, well, I mean I've seen it, but like you would never see that in like the Midwest
Rave
or like
culture is very big here, yeah.
right. So that like the sense of style too like is completely different. Cause I don't even know, cause like I
Yeah,
mean
like when I started incorporating like those gemstones and jewels into my makeup, and I just started wearing them even to just like club meetings or like where we would just go to school, whatever. Sometimes I would wear them, and no one thinks twice about it. You know, it's just like,
I
oh,
wasn't
she's just
in
did her
school.
makeup,
Double people would do
huh?
double days. Like if I try to do that like here,
They're like, "Are you okay? What are
are,
you
are you are you
doing?"
going to a party after?
Yeah.
Like I have to have a reason to have like really good.
Yeah.
I remember I had a photo shoot for board after class, so I like had my backpack with like my fancy dress and everything, but I did my makeup before because I didn't want to like waste too much time. And
Mm-hmm.
people were like, "Oh, are you like taking photos or something later?" Because like I don't really like do really extravagant makeup for like
Mm-hmm.
school, and then I had like really extravagant lashes and like a full face basically. And
Yeah.
well, I also went to well, I'm a computer science major, so most of my classes were all guys. So
Oh yeah, for classes, maybe not. I want to wear like jewels to like my classes, but like lashes and stuff, sure.
yeah, but I mean, like I said, I had a photo shoot right after, so I was just like,
Hmm.
I don't want to waste any time.
Yeah,
But I feel like since you moved, like your sense of style has been
changed immaculately.
definitely.
Lost or like
I feel like it fits you though. Like your personality, it
Oh,
fits.
thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I've watched my sense of style change, especially even from last year. It's just shifted a lot because especially because I used to incorporate a lot of color in outfits, or before I would just throw on like a back sweater and leggings and call that an outfit. And then nowadays, like at least I know how to dress myself. I wear patterns, but most of the time I just wear like all black. And it's really funny because like one time I wore a pink shirt to practice, and everyone was looking at me like, you're wearing pink today. And then I was like, yeah, what's wrong with it? And they're like, usually wear black. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm never going to wear a pink shirt ever again.
You think, guys?
But
Self-esteem.
like before, I could probably wear a pink shirt and then everyone would be like, oh, yeah. But nowadays, my sense of style is just like black shirt, pattern pants.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I feel like it's definitely changed. But it really works, and I feel like it brings like it matches your personality better. And I feel like you've just like because obviously we've known you differently than others because
Mm-hmm.
like, you were close to us, and like I'm assuming that you didn't really hide yourself from
No,
us.
no.
So
No, I heard
like
everything from you guys. Yeah, there was no sense of community there either. No.
yeah, but no, like I feel like since moving, you've just been able to be like that person to like everyone, and like because I even like looking at your like Insta feed change over
Oh,
time.
you can watch it change. Literally so different from when I scroll down. I'm like, who is that? But I keep it up there just for that irony effect. But yeah, because I think it's just my style is also influenced by who I surround myself with. And so the people, especially like my roommates, have had like a huge impact on my style and how comfortable I am, especially when people wear similar things to me. That makes me more open to dressing the way that I want because then I'm not going to be judged for it.
Right, exactly. Because like I know I've been like recently like I've been trying to like change my dress like how I style myself, but it's like really hard because not a lot of people are dressing the way I want to, and it's like
Oh yeah, I remember when I came to visit you guys, like one of the parents was like, "Oh, she's got that Cali style dress going on," like the way I was dressed up, and I was just like, "This is how I dress normally." But for them, because they haven't seen it and they've seen it for the first time in person, they're like, "Oh, this is very different."
No,
even
yeah, I
though it's
remember
like
I
too hot
wore.
in pants.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. It's just like I remember we went out recently and I was wearing like this bralette that kind like could pass off as a shirt and like some like patterned pants and I put a jacket over because I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna get cold. And my dad was like, oh my gosh, like why are you wearing that? Like he like couldn't like he's like that's too much. You can't. And I'm just like
I know. Literally me, I had like a shirt and it's like showed only like this much of skin. And he's like,
And
where
my
are you
parents,
going?
the way I dress at home versus the way I dress at college is two different people. So if you see me at home and how I dress, don't at me. But if you see me at college, feel free to feel free to look at me all you want.
Yes.
yeah,
Because
no, I feel that way too. Like when I was in the on my apartment, I literally dressed like however I wanted. But
mhm.
now that like I'm at home and because I was going out, but I didn't want to like I
I
didn't
would always pack like an extra t-shirt into my car, or like I'd bring a jacket so when I come home and if my parents are still awake, I'd throw it over and then they don't know what I wore, because all of my tops like have like that midriff that like your stomach showing, or there's like they're kind of like low dropping or something, because that's what I like to wear. But your parents, whatever.
expect Filipino parents to be like.
Strict Filipino parents be like,
But yeah, no. Well, what else? I feel like you've also started wearing more jewelry since
my earring collection is so gigantic, and like I never get a chance to showcase it just because I have so many that I can't wear them all at the same time. Like today I'm wearing like my gold like diamond dragon ones. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they're very cute. I don't know where I got them from, but yeah. Cause yeah, now I just see things and now I'm comfortable enough to wear it. So if I see something that I like, I'm not afraid to be like, I wonder what people would think if I wore this.
right. I
Something.
feel like also like because of how California is, it's just like it doesn't really matter like what you wear. You can just like wear it and no one will blink a second eye. But like here, it's like, oh, if I wear this, like I'm gonna get like some stares. Am I
Mm-hmm.
okay with that? And it's like if you're okay with it, then you do it. If you're not, you're like, well, never mind.
Yeah.
I definitely had that like sense of feeling when I would go to school. I'm like, I
A
don't really
little
feel like.
paranoia. Mm.
I mean, I started getting over it because when you dye your hair weird colors, everyone's staring at you. So
Oh, I'd love to have pink hair. I really just want like bleached blonde hair, like that platinum blonde hair. But my hair's like dead. How many freaking times I've dyed it last year? Yeah, and I dyed my hair like 6 times last year and nobody thinks twice about it. My parents maybe, but everyone else no.
my parents maybe, but everyone else, no, I remember that. That was literally me this year.
Yeah.
Went from blonde to pink to black to purple to back to blonde.
Yeah, last year I had black hair. You guys saw me when like I bleached my hair and then I dyed it brown, and then you guys saw like the faded brown color. Then I dyed it pink, then it went back to brown, then it went back to black. Ultimately, I like black best, but it's like fun to try out different
No,
colors.
yeah, for sure. It's always fun to like switch it up and all that. But like you said, like in California, no one thinks twice. Here, I had a lot of stares when I had pink hair. It
Mm-hmm.
was okay. It was fine.
It looked good.
That's all that mattered.
Your hair was vibrant, vibrant.
Oh yeah, I was not expecting it to be that vibrant, but but what else? So I guess this like kind of like ties into like the vibes of like California, because like we started talking about that a little bit. The vibes. But I feel like when I was there visiting you, it just like everything felt like I don't know, more chill, more like
Yeah, I mean, it goes hand in hand. Like, people are just a lot more open-minded. You don't have to think twice, like, as much about how people are going to perceive you.
So do you think like moving to California has like strengthened your like Filipino identity?
Definitely. Like,
You want to like
literally,
talk about how,
first
like
year,
how it has and like how it's affected you?
it's just because there was such a big culture behind behind Filipinos that I just didn't know about, like all of these dances, like the history behind those, and then just like how like differently people can portray like their own experience and the way that we all share like this same experience. For example, like our skit for this year, the theme was like mestiza, like dark-skinned Filipinos and light-skinned Filipinos, and how prejudice against those with like dark skin. Like I found myself like, oh, I can relate to that, and like that is like something that's been so common in our culture, and like all of these people can relate to, and so I don't know, it just felt more accepting that like we're trying to shift that like prejudice and that people can like relate to it, and we support like all Filipinos, if that makes sense. But yeah, so then like my pride like being Filipino and especially having like darker skin has grown, and like I've got grown to accept myself for it because it's not something that I'm supposed to be ashamed of. And oh, and the sense of like family, I think like is very big too, because I've always had pride in just like my family, but having a family like not like real family, but like a family that you build from like that club, like that sense of family has grown a lot. And I think just having the culture like tie us together has made me even proud of like our club and our organization and how far like we've grown. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. So like back to like being in Michigan, like were you ever like disappointed or upset when like people didn't know about like the Philippines, or like didn't like or misidentified you as like a different Asian race, or like not even as Asian?
Probably at the time I was angry about it, but when I think about it now, like it's not their fault that they weren't educated. I was also probably like 15 or 13 when like it happened. So like it just makes sense, but it's kind of sad that we don't get a lot more representation. And you think about like famous Filipino people, there's like not that many names that come to mind, especially like if I was white, like who would you think of?
We literally talked about that too, because like I feel like now like in terms of Filipino representation, you got Bretman Rock, you got
Bidicon, but we don't hear from her anymore.
who?
Justine Bidicon.
Oh yeah, her Pia, Queen Pia, Queen
Oh
Katrina.
yeah. I was like, Pia Cantino, oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, yes, I love her.
Our queen.
Yeah, that's our Queen Pia, bro.
Yeah, our Queen Pia. But again, even though they were Miss Universes and people might know about them because Queen Pia had her huge like Steve Harvey thing.
Yeah.
They're not full Filipino, they're halfies.
There's also that too, yeah.
But I mean, it's still a step forward, because
Still something.
it's still small steps. Because I know at least when we were growing up, it was just Manny Pacquiao, and
Ooh, what a guy.
I mean, you know, greatest boxer of his time. But I remember the only people who knew about Manny Pacquiao most of the time were like guys, and they just also happened to be into boxing, so that's the only reason why they knew him. But like other than that, I think I don't know. I remember the Mayweather fight. That was like the talk of my school, and I was kind of shocked that people were talking about the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight, and I was just like, and everyone knew I was Filipino, so of course everyone's like, "Oh, are you rooting for Pacquiao? Mayweather's gonna beat him." I was like, "Boy."
and yeah, because what was it? So yeah, I don't blame people for not knowing, but I kind of blame like this system that it's just not equal.
Right. People didn't know.
And like they're not educated about it.
Or like
especially when you come from
talk about the Philippines in school, it's like, yeah, the Spanish took over the Philippines and then the Americans saved them. And then I remember everyone would stare at me because we mentioned the Philippines and everyone knew I was a Filipino. And I was
Bro,
like,
I just have this very distinct memory of when you, like, you know, when you did those geography quizzes in like middle school,
yes.
and then like you tried to lose on purpose because like you didn't want to be in like the geography like
yes,
whatever.
100%.
I remember literally one of the questions I got was, the capital of the Philippines is, and everyone looks at me and they're like, are you serious? She really got that question? And I'm sitting there like, I was waiting all day for this. only question that I got right.
You're like, you know what? I'll flunk the next question.
I know. I was like, I'll flunk the next one. This one, I know it. I know it.
You're like, I can't do my country wrong. Bro, no, that's like the funniest. I remember Sasha was like telling us about how she was playing Jack in the Box and like the murder mystery party with her friends, and then the question was like, what country's capital is Manila? And she's like, oh, I know this. But the thing was, it was the Philippines, but spelled in different ways. So she was like,
Oh no.
I'm ready. And then you're like,
Oh
she's
no.
like, oh fuck.
Capital
I
I
can't
from
tell either.
L.
I would so fuck it up. That'd be a disgrace. But I don't know what else. I guess like what's like some interesting thing is that like since going to California, like experience wise, whether it be like Asian related or just like things that just really differ from Michigan.
Mm, um. Oh, festival and concert culture.
Oh
'Cause
my god, yes.
I remember back home, I probably went to like 3 concerts, and they were all at the Palace. They were all like seats like way far back.
So, like
But
stadium
like
style concert, right?
yeah, like that whole thing. But here, like you have concerts like well before COVID, obviously. But like there'd be concerts every month. I would always go to festivals with my friends. Like I was ready to go to Coachella this year. Like I paid for it and everything. We were going to camp and like get the whole like Coachella experience. If like COVID didn't happen, it's fine. But because like I've been to raves, I've been to like Head in the Clouds festival with like Rich Brian, Nicki, all of them, and so I've seen like Amine. I've been to K-pop concerts. Like all of that would have never happened if I hadn't moved here. So like I have 2 friends specifically, like their names are Felicia and Eric, and like every single time like a concert was announced, we'd be like, oh my god, like are you guys gonna go? And then we became friends because we went to like Kali Uchis and Georgia Smith concert. Like I would have never gone to Kali Uchis and Georgia Smith concert back home.
Right, exactly. Like even I think I didn't even go to my first concert until my freshman year. And it was just because my friend was like, hey, I have extra tickets to Quinn 92. You want to go? Because he knew I was into Quinn 92. And I was like, hell yeah. And it was at the Fillmore, which is still like a bigger setting. So, but I mean,
I
we're,
think last year I went to like a concert every month from like February all the way to like September.
which
So
is crazy.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like
mean, the
I
only
saw Daniel Skeezer like twice.
the
I
only
saw
person I know who does that is Nikki, but her music's so diverse that she
that
can.
she's able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like for
hmm
us people who have like a somewhat set music taste, it's like can't really do that. I was really bummed. I was gonna go to like a few concerts too. I said this in a
BTS.
yeah. I was supposed to go to the BTS concert with a bunch of friends to Chicago. That could get canceled. So bad.
It's fine. I know. I was gonna go to Coachella.
Oh yeah, that would have been like yeah, especially because like being from the Midwest, I couldn't even be like, oh, let me just go to Coachella. Like I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at least like we're in California, it's like probably easier to go. I'm assuming.
Yeah, just easier to go and easier to find events because there's just so many.
So many.
Yeah, because I would have never thought that I'd spend this much money on concerts. Like concerts, outfits, planning like who you're gonna go with. Never thought that that was gonna be like a big portion of my life until like last year.
Until you're like, oh yeah, I remember when we went to visit, you were like, oh, I'm going to a concert. Sorry, I can't hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Literally, when you came to visit, I was like, damn, I'm really going to a concert right now.
Like, sorry, I already kind of bought this concert tickets in advance.
Yeah. Because I also didn't know that rave culture was a thing until I moved here. I didn't know like the term ABG or anything until I came here, which is why I hated when people called me an ABG because they kind of stereotyped me into this group of girls who have similar personalities, but it's not my personality.
Okay.
So yeah, I could always get pissed when people call me that, and if someone calls me that, I will call them out on it because sure, I wear lashes saying I get boba, but that's not my personality. Trust me.
Right. No, there's like more to that, like to being an ABG than just that. But I mean, like there's other things. But yeah, no, and then like I feel like also there's just like a more diverse personality types like in California, like in terms of like the Asian community. I feel like most of the people here I meet are like almost like I don't want to say the same, but like no one's like really out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Unique.
I mean,
Unique.
like this sounds horrible, but like
No, exactly. I
it's
know
just
what you
like
mean.
I hope people understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to trash talk anyone or like call out anyone, but I just feel like there's just a more diverse sense of like people there, and
I
everyone.
think it's just like a more diverse sense of style and creativity because like the art culture here, I've taken such a huge respect towards because my roommates are both film majors, and I know that if I told my parents like, oh, I was gonna be a film major, like they probably would have had some sort of like prejudice, like, oh, you're not gonna make that much, blah blah
No,
blah.
yeah,
But
exactly. Like that's what I mean. Cause like even here,
mhm,
like almost everyone I know is like an engineer or in like the medical field.
yeah, everyone there is engineering, nursing. Here, like my roommates are literally like, I have a fashion design major, I have two film majors, and it's like so interesting to see the work that they do because one of my friends is like a film major and she has like hobbies in photography and like the work that she does has been published in like articles and everything, and it's just really nice to see them grow in like that type of field because I know it's not impossible, but especially because in California where people are more open-minded, where you're more willing to make connections and like network, it's a lot easier to succeed when you're here versus like back home when there's like that prejudice that stops people from even like just like even debating to go into film like that whole
Oh,
barrier is like
for
hard to.
sure. Like I said on a past episode, I was gonna go to art school, and then I
See,
didn't.
and then there's that whole like wall that just stops you because I think back and I'm like, if I had decided to just do my GEs first, like my first 2 years, and had time to think about it, like I wonder where I would have been. Not that I'm unhappy with my major, but just like if I had more time to think about like my future and what I really wanted to do, like where would I have ended up.
Right? Would it have changed? You might still would have picked the same thing. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? But just giving yourself that option to think about it. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
because like here all of my friends were just like either it was nursing because their parents were like that hard driven type, or they were just like, oh, like psychology or oh, business, marketing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I've never even considered those because it was so like drilled into me that I had to succeed and like make money.
No, yeah, for sure. I feel that because for me, so I'm a game design major, but that was a compromise. So I could still have what I
Mhm.
want, but like I said, I wanted to go to art school, and the art school I wanted to go to had a game design program. So when I
Game
learned that, I
design
was
is so sick though.
it worked out. It was a good compromise. I
Hmm.
was like, oh, I'll learn coding and also do art, So it was a good compromise. So it worked out in my favor. But like, if I didn't figure that compromise out, like, what would I be doing? Like,
Yeah.
who knows?
Hmm.
Probably would have been an engineer because I definitely don't want to be in the medical field.
Yeah, that's why I think like it's even like moving here has even made me more open-minded than I already was, just because I was willing to accept all of those things and like not that I want to have kids, but if I did, like I'd be more willing to just let them do whatever they wanted. Like as long as they're happy, it's like fine.
So do you think that also changes your mindset for like the future? So like, for example, let's say things don't work out the way you want them. Like, do you think it because of like how the mindset there and everyone's so open-minded, do you think you'd be able to like find other opportunities elsewhere versus
Probably.
if you were here, you'd probably be like, oh, I have to make this work. I need to like.
Yeah. As I feel like, especially with all the friends that I've made, I feel like there's so many networking connections in so many ways that I could take my career. So, not that I'm saying like, oh, I'm relying on all of you to be successful so then I can be successful, but it's more like I have like that leverage.
Right, you have like the connections, and someone could, if you need help, someone can help you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to succeed.
I feel that I have no one else is in the computer science biz in my org that I know. So it's like I gotta figure everything out on my own. And then I'm now everyone's connection for all the younger ones. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so we're coming close to an end. Is there any any other things you want to talk about or any other topics that you want to bring up?
How have you guys been doing? Enough about me. Let me hear about you.
Life has been so boring.
I was like, how's your quarantine? Maybe I should have worded it that way.
Quarantine, we've been recording episodes and playing volleyball. That's
Yeah, I'm really jealous because I've reconnected with like, our group chat back home, and like when quarantine started, that's when I went back to the group chat. And then I'm really jealous of everyone that gets to play volleyball together, because it's so easy for you to send a text and be like, let's play volleyball today, and then everyone can just drive cars and go over there, because I didn't get to experience that with you guys, where I could just take my car and go see you guys.
right. No,
So,
you didn't even get your license until you were in California.
no, I didn't get my license until I was 18 because I didn't want to. And
Even if you, well, I don't know how things would have changed if you stayed in Michigan.
well, because you guys wouldn't have had your license. Even if I had mine, you guys were still younger than me.
Well, I mean, if you got yours when you were 18, I had mine by then because I needed to get mine as soon as possible.
Oh, I meant like even if I got my license like
at
back
16?
home, you guys still wouldn't have been able to drive. So the only people that I could have hang out with is like Caitlin, Emma, Adrian.
For the context, Emma, when she says Emma, she's talking about Nikki.
I'm talking about Michelle Falasso, your president. Your president. She's my mother, my dad.
Yes, number one dad.
Number one dad.
Number one dad.
No,
So,
I guess like we can talk about that real quick. So because you moved to
my
California,
connections to everyone.
obviously in the college years, the years that also we have more freedom, how has it been since like the separation? Because like to give context for the people who don't know us, we have this group of like Filipinos, as we've been mentioning. Like
I probably know all of your friends, just saying. They all know me, trust.
So yeah, so we have our group and we've been together since childhood, growing up, and then Justine moved to California. So I get like obviously around college time is when we get more freedom. So for you, how is like you said, you've been reconnecting with us since quarantine started. So how has that like separation been? Because like I know like for me, I like you always get brought up in like life stories like when I talk about like my life, because I mean you know this.
I'm just a very impactful person.
She's the reason. I think we said this in the past episode. She's the reason I got into K-pop, anime.
Oh, say that. Say that. I'm just the type of person to push my interests onto people if I know that I can do it.
I know.
If you show any signs of interest in something, I will shove it down your throat until you are as interested as I am.
Yeah, but like back to what I was saying, like, so how has this like separation been? Because I remember like when you were like, yeah, guys, I'm going to Cali, we were all like really bummed, like, and stuff.
I mean, for the most part, it's fine. It's just like when I see you guys hanging out, like there's that sense of like, oh man, I'm kind of lonely. But it's not like I haven't made friends as close like here. But yeah, it's just also kind of tough because all of my friends are in like San Francisco, which is like 300 miles away. So like when I'm by myself in Irvine, there isn't that many people I can go to, because my closest friends would be like 15, 20 miles away still.
So it's basically nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing has changed really.
I still have to drive miles to see my friends. No, yeah, but I feel like it would have been interesting if like you were still here and like we all have our cars and we're all like.
Oh, I wonder. Sometimes I wonder about that. But it's not like, yeah, I don't think I haven't lost touch with like anybody though.
No, yeah, I feel like you still maintain like a pretty good communication.
The group calls and.
Oh yeah, like
beginning. Oh yeah, when I came back, it was literally just like, oh, Justine's here.
Oh my god, when you surprised us at Elisa's grad party.
Oh my god, that was so crazy. I was just like, why the frick is she here?
I was like, I remember screaming. I was like, no, wait, what?
The original plan was I was gonna go surprise Michelle's grad party, because I already told Tita Dema, Tita June, and like they already knew I was coming, and so they were already okay with me staying at their place. Then Michelle's cousin decided that they were gonna hold their grad party on that day instead, and I was like, and then Michelle was like, oh, like we moved the date, blah blah blah, and I'm sitting over here like I bought the freaking plane ticket, like.
You're like, what do I do?
I was like, Tita Dema, like, why would you change it? Like, you knew I was coming. So then we ended up then I ended up telling her. So it was just me, Michelle, and Emma that knew about it. So then that's why we planned it on Eliza's, and then I came to Eliza's because I think that was the same weekend that I ended up going.
Yeah, you came like what? Like a day or two before the grad party, and then you kept it a secret until
Michelle almost leaked it? Like she posted something on her Snapchat or something?
No, she posted something on her story. She had to take it down like immediately. I made a private story for just my friends in California to post.
That's smart.
She literally had to hide me for like an entire day because we didn't want anyone to know that I was here.
No, you guys did really good. I remember really just like, what the...
Because I surprised you, and then I don't know, you guys know the Ortiz? Like Sam Ortiz.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm also friends with them. They are also my childhood friends, for everyone listening. But because I surprised Zachary Ortiz, and it was his grad party, and they didn't know I was coming. Only Sam knew because I accidentally posted it on my story, and she saw it. So she was like, "You in California?" And I was like, no. So then I went to his grad party and surprised all of them too. It's just funny seeing everyone's just like, oh my god.
You're like, wait.
Take a second, you're here? I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
No, yeah, I remember we were just so shocked. And then your brother was supposed to come this summer. He was supposed to come to my brother's grad party and stay at my house, but then that fell through.
Rest in peace.
That's okay. We'll see each other eventually. Because I know me and Adrian, we're trying to go to Cali and visit you.
Please.
I'm just saying that even though it is so much easier for me, a singular person, to go there just to see everyone, it's not impossible to plan a trip, rent out an Airbnb, and you split the funds. Like an Airbnb costs like maybe $200, $300, but if you split that between like easy.
Adrian, and like a few people were planning this, and we didn't want to say anything to you because, I think I did say like, oh, when are you free, like time wise.
Oh, do not surprise me. Just I will plan it for you if you want.
Do it, please.
I will plan it for you.
I will plan it. I had like a whole budget planned out. Like
if you're gonna rent a house, don't rent it in Irvine. I will take you to the beach. I will take you to the city. Like,
you know what? We'll plan a vacation with you in California.
Dude, literally after this thing, we're gonna plan this out. After this podcast.
All right, we should probably wrap up the episode because like now we're like okay, but yeah, no. I honestly during COVID, I was really tempted to buy a ticket because it was so cheap, and I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be over by August. Still wrong.
Bro, I literally was going to because the tickets on my birthday were like $100.
Dude, I think the tickets there were like going there were less than 100, and I was so tempted to buy them for August.
Oh yeah, come to the hotspot, the COVID-19 hotspot. Come right
just
over.
Quarantine at your house, it's fine. Vacation at the Geronimo's.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so. Okay, I guess we should wrap this up. But anyways, that's our episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. For people who are not from California, I hope you got like a little insight of like what's like.
I've only been here for 3 years, but I will tell you that it has been a very different 3 years.
All right, so thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please let us know what topics you want to hear from us. Follow our socials. They'll be in the show notes. And
my sentences made sense.
I hope you understood the episode, guys. And if you guys enjoy, please give us a good rating. And I hope to hear from you guys next time.